Alright, what's going on, guys? It is your boy, TK here, back again here on PlayStation Source, and we have a lot to talk about. So I'm sure you guys have seen on Twitter or amongst other Reddit threads or recent era threads that there's been a lot of talk about this hypothetical supposed PS5 Reveal Event coming in February next month, and there's a ton of different things that have been detailed about what might be shown at this event. And so a lot of it to me makes sense, some of it doesn't make sense, but we're gonna, comb through all of it, I'm saying, and we're gonna see what I feel about all this and going down, that might be going down on February during the PS5 Reveal Event. And so again, none of this is factual. We are still in the realm of speculation here about PS5, and more specifically about the event coming up in February. So please take all this with a grain of salt. I'll have links in the description that goes through all of it and everything, and just make sure, keep a heads up here, this is all speculative, this is all rumors, there's nothing here that is set in stone. However, of course, the Wired.com interviews that we've had last year, as well as the CES 2020 logo reveal, are really the only things that have been really, crucial and actually facts about the PS5. So all of this stuff is just speculation, but it's fun to speculate while we're in this realm of, PS5 hype and stuff like that. So I want to just give my 2 cents on all this, and let's get right into it. So without further ado, let's go into what these leaks tell about the PlayStation 5 reveal event coming in February, supposedly. And so the first thing here I want to highlight is the whole debacle around the slogan of PS5. So I have my notes here, in front of me. So if I'm looking here, I'm reading, you know what I'm saying, boys, I'm reading. So anyway, there was this whole thing about the slogan. Of course, PlayStation slogans have been pretty stable across the years of PlayStation consoles. We had PS1, which was wherever, whenever, forever. We had PS2 being live in your world, play in ours, which is pretty cool. We had the PS3 era, which I'm a little bit more familiar with, which goes, it only does everything, and the iconic long live play as well from PS3. And we also have Greatness Awaits, which was kind of in the PS3 era, but was mainly associated with the PS4, as well as most recently for the players for the PS4 as well. And so those have been kind of in the slogans overall. And so when we had PlayStation Europe, their Twitter bio actually changed their slogan, and they, I believe, usually put the slogan of PlayStation that's currently kind of the most used one in marketing and stuff like that. They usually have that one in their bio, but they recently changed it to "It's time to play," so which led a lot of people to believe that perhaps this could be the first introduction of them using the new PlayStation slogan, "It's time to play," that could be directly tied and associated with PS5. And so this got a lot of people up in the works. A lot of people were definitely talking about it. However, there was an update to this whole thing that Push Square so kindly updated their article on, and this has actually been used before. And so the term "It's time to play," that actual slogan, was actually used about a year ago, where they posted on their YouTube channel, and by them I mean PlayStation Europe. They posted on their YouTube channel this like hype trailer of all different of all different types of IP. God of War, I think, was featured in it. So was Crash Bandicoot, etc. They had the same moniker, "It's time to play," in that trailer. So it's not necessarily new, and it really doesn't, tie directly into PS5, considering that this has been used before. But, Greatness Awaits was used during PS3 as well, and during the Vita era as well, and it was primarily used in PS4. So maybe we have a little bit more of a perspective of these slogans that they do, and when they change up a slogan, it's not really tied to the console, it's more tied to, I guess, the era of the consoles, you know what I'm saying? And so more of like, they're not directly, as soon as the PS5 drops, it changes. It's more of just like, it also includes kind of the ramping up of the new console and new hardware and stuff like that. So I think that's where they're coming from here. And so, hey, it is most, I say it's up in the air. It's still probably plausible that the PS5 era slogan of PlayStation will be "It's time to play." And honestly, I kind of like it, because when you think about Greatness Awaits, with the PS4, it was a time of definitely rebuilding from the PS3 era, which, to be fair, the PS3, was definitely on the uphill swing going into, post 2010 era of the PlayStation 3, 2011, 2012, and stuff like that, leading up to 2013 with the PS4. So they were definitely, on the uppy up, of that. And so, you know, having Greatness Awaits kind of was definitely a time of them, you know, nailing down new IP, like Spider-Man was very big, God of War, of course, and stuff like that, Uncharted 4. And so having the moniker of PS5 being it's time to play kind of has a nice little transition sound to it of like, all right, it's time to, you know, experience what we've built upon on the PS4 and doubling down from the PS4 era to the PS5. So to me, that kind of has a nice little ring to it, you know, overall. And it really does kind of ring like a interesting type of like leveling up type of feeling with PS5 that we're all hoping for. So I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel about this slogan. Do you guys like it? Do you hate it? And of course, you know, this was also a part of the actual leak that we got that we will talk about later on here. I just wanted to, you know, up front discuss this slogan because I actually kind of like it. I think it's pretty good. I like it's time to play. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. But next up here, of course, we have gotten a lot of, you know, rumors around when this event will be taking place, this hypothetical PS5 reveal event. And I've said from the jump, I've said it plenty of times on you know, different shows, on Save Slot and on Joy Clicks as well, that I believe that they will have a similar parody to when they were unveiling info about the PS4, where they did a similar PlayStation meeting PS4 reveal event where they went over, I believe even the release date for it also came out on that meeting, as well as of course the name of the console and different features that the PS4 had. It was in that February 20th 2013 PlayStation meeting event for the PS4. So I've always said that, you know, I believe that they will do the same thing for the PS5. I'm not sure if it'll be in a PlayStation meeting type of thing, or it'll be maybe I could possibly see a state of play, maybe, I don't know, probably not a state of play, but definitely some sort of event to, you know, highlight the PS5 and its features, definitely in February. And so it looks like David Jaffe took to Twitter and kind of, you know, pretty much confirmed it. You know, the closest thing we've had to a confirm from a somewhat official source, which we will get into in a little bit here. But David Jaffe, of course, the creator of God of War and Twisted Metal, used to work at Sony Santa Monica and stuff like that, and now he doesn't work there, but we will get to all that in a little bit. So let's read over these quotes here. So he was talking to someone on Twitter, and he says here in the first tweet that PS5 reveal is less than 4 weeks away. Sony knows how hardcore gamers are hanging on to every scoop of info, and know that just because Microsoft dominates the conversation at the moment, that's an easy thing to change when they are ready to reveal, assuming the reveal is good. He will not to then, you know, kind of double down and clarify that I want to say it's the worst kept secret in games right now, February reveal like they did for PS4. So he pretty much says it as if it's gospel, as if it's in the Bible and stuff like that, like as if it's 100% true. And so with him being, you know, of course, the creator behind God of War and Twisted Metal, and he used to work for Sony, I have to assume that he still has some friends at Sony, or still has some friends at Sony Santa Monica, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, David Jaffe is definitely a big name in the industry, you know, amongst the names of like Cory Barlog, for example, on the side of Sony, or like Mark Cerny, or, you know, Andrew House and stuff like that. And so all those, you know, big names in PlayStation, David Jaffe definitely is one of them. Probably not currently, you know, since he doesn't work there anymore, but, you know, from a very historical standpoint, he has definitely been one of those Mount Rushmore, you know, people of PlayStation, like those faces of PlayStation, right? So I feel like he has to have some friends that are still there, and probably that's where he got his info from. He doesn't state his source or anything like that, so I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt with this one, but I'm gonna take it with a little bit of a bigger grain of salt, just because, well, I guess less of a grain of salt, I guess is what the phrase would be. I believe this a little bit more because of his pedigree at PlayStation and his history at PlayStation, and I kind of feel like it makes sense for him to know if anyone would to know, you know what I'm saying? And like, I feel like it definitely would be him. And you know, like I said before, it makes sense to me in my eyes and in my mind that, all right, the PS5 reveal event will probably have some sort of parody with the PS4 reveal event like it did back in the day. Now, next up here, let's go into the meat of the whole leak, which details what they will be showing in terms of games and specs and release date and price and stuff like that. And once again, before I get into it, let's just keep it all, you know, 100% straight up here. These are not confirmed. These are not factual. These are simply rumors and speculation. So take that as you will. Now, again, links in the description. So let's go on here. They say here that, oh wait, before I give my opinion, I'm going to first lay out all the bullet points, then we'll go step by step, bullet point by bullet point, and I'll break it all down to what I think about it and the likeliness of this, right? So first up here, PS5 Reveal Event is set for February 5th, 2020. The PS5 release date is in October of 2020. The PS5 price is $499, and there's only one model, and you can do the conversion to whatever country you're in, but $499 USD, so $500. The PS5 launch games include Gran Turismo 7, MLB The Show 21, Demon's Souls Remastered, Godfall, and Legends, which is a hypothetical new IP from Sony Santa Monica Studio. The games teased at PS5 Reveal will be Horizon Zero Dawn sequel, Marvel Spider-Man sequel, a new sci-fi IP from Naughty Dog, yes, you did hear that right, a new IP from Sony Interactive Entertainment Japan, and a new IP from London Studio, as well as Final Fantasy 16 and a new Resident Evil. The PS5 specs also are going to be quote-unquote almost on par with the Xbox Series X. Leaks claim that the Series X is more expensive, the PS5 more powerful than the cheaper Xbox Lockhart. And they also say here that the PS5 slogan is time to play, that we talked about earlier in the video. So let's start here with the release date, right? So for me, overall, I think that makes sense. You know, the PS4 launched sometime in November. I think it was a week before Black Friday officially. I think that I'm pretty sure that's when it was. I should have looked up, when the actual PS4 release date was, but I know it was like a week before Black Friday, which I think was a very, very good position to put it in, because when you got, a lot of Black Friday shoppers, they saw PS5 and they knew that, saw PS4, and their kids were, definitely, wanting to get PS4 and stuff like that. So to have it on, release of a week before a big shopping day like Black Friday in the US, definitely makes a lot of sense for that release date. So to me, October makes a little bit more sense, but maybe I feel like this October date could be pointing at them maybe anticipating some sort of maybe shortage at launch, and maybe they want to give it a little more space, from the crowd that are definitely the hardcore that will get it on day one, like myself, or versus the more casual, more parents looking to get it for their kids. Maybe they can be able to adjust to that potential maybe shortage that they are assuming that they'd probably have, and be able to have space to restock about a month, hypothetically, maybe, that's just off the top of my head, maybe, I don't know, but nonetheless, October to me makes sense, to launch a console in that frame definitely does make sense. And it would mean that, hey, any November game, or really maybe any October game that is PS4, and if it's supposed to work on PS5, probably gonna save till PS5, but nonetheless, that October date to me overall just checks out for me. Now, the price, right? The price is a big point of contention. I love how this leak, hypothetically points out that they are hearing that the Series X is going to be more expensive than $500, which I think could be a big shot in the foot, because at least to me personally, I don't know about everyone else here watching this video, and if you have a different opinion, definitely leave it down below in the comment section, but I feel like the highest possible price, the average, whether you're a hardcore gamer or a casual, gamer, right? I feel like the overall highest price point that you could possibly put on PS5 or on Series X, I feel, is $500, right? Unless there's some insane reason as to why, but I feel like overall, like the highest possible, price point that PS5 could possibly be and still be, a reasonable price for the console is definitely $500. So I feel like $500 is 100% the highest point of price that they could have ever done for the PS5, especially, with them touting that this is supposed to have ray tracing capabilities, supposed to have SSDs, that I've even seen rumors that the SSD is going to be a terabyte SSD in the PS5. I doubt a terabyte, because that's going to be that's going to be expensive, you know what I'm saying? And definitely they don't want to have another repeat of like the PS3 launch price point, which was $600, which that was insane, and definitely did not do the PS3 well in the early days of PS3. So I feel like $500 overall, checks out. I would love to see a $400 price point. like, I think them coming out again on stage and doing a $3.99 moment like they did with PS4 would have been great. But I feel like, you know, with what they have put into this console that they've said on Wired.com interviews, PS5, $500 for me is a good price. You know, I feel like overall that is a very, very good price. Now let's go in to the launch games, right? These launch games overall to me line up, except, you know, maybe a few of them, but overall they all line up, right? So GTA 7, not GTA 7, wow, GT7, Gran Turismo 7, of course, you need a racing game to show off the console's capabilities, and of course, everyone knows racing games are the best way to show off a console's graphics, you know what I'm saying? And of course, Gran Turismo is well loved. A lot of people love the series, and a lot of people love that racing, you know, genre. Me, I don't really like the very simulation type of racers. I like the more arcadey type racers. Nonetheless, Gran Turismo 7 to me makes sense. You want to show off the console and what it can do visually speaking, and the trailers are going to look insane for Gran Turismo, so of course that one makes sense. MLB The Show 21 also makes a lot of sense. It being, actually, it was announced recently that the MLB 20 edition of the show was actually touted and given the highest baseball game ever sold ever. So MLB The Show is a very, very strong IP. It makes sense for them to have, you know, a brand new console and bring in some of that sports crowd into the new gen, into the next gen with PS5. Having MLB The Show 21 be, you know, ready day and date for the PS5 makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like overall that one checks out for me as well. Now, Demon's Souls Remastered. It has not been announced officially, but I feel like this one is the project that Bluepoint has been touting for a long time. I feel like this is the game that Bluepoint is working on, and I know a lot of people have said it. You know, a lot of people have rumored it. Yeah, like the Bluepoint project is Demon's Souls Remastered, and I feel like that'll be a good one too, because I feel like overall, you know, when you look at the entire launch title, there seems to be something for everyone to play. Like, whatever taste you kind of like, there is, I believe, a shooter missing in this. Let me see. Well, I mean, if they're looking for a shooter, third parties are going to take care of that. There will be a Call of Duty 2020 that will be, of course, on PS5. So that is, you know, all taken care of. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like in terms of first party, I feel like they have a good kind of, you know, appetizer sampler, if you will, of different genres of games. So I feel like definitely Demon's Souls Remastered definitely would fit nicely into the PS5 launch titles and stuff like that. So the next one here, of course, is Godfall. We've seen that Game Awards. We saw that leaked trailer as well that was given as a in-studio presentation for the developers that we talked about a little bit more on Save Slot Podcast episode 2. So make sure to go check out that. That got uploaded yesterday. Check it out. And that one is a given. Godfall has been announced already for the PS5, so having that at launch title definitely makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Definitely does check out for me. And the last one here I want to bring up, wait, was there one more? There was one more. There was one more here. So the new IP that they talked about here, apparently from Sony Santa Monica Studio, called Legends. I don't know about this one. This one seems the most fake to me, right? Like, to have number one, a generic title called Legends, right? With a Z, I mind you, not an S, with a Z. I feel like that name sounds very generic, very made up, very fake. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, I guess I could possibly see them coming out with it, you know? And if anything, I feel like maybe this could tie in to the canceled project that they were working on before they started making God of War 2018. You know, that was detailed in the God of War documentary, Raising Kratos, right? So perhaps maybe that is where this is stemming from. Maybe this project, you know, is that just in a new skin and like a new overall like life it's gonna breathe in. Is it new? Is it a new IP technically? If, you know, they never really officially announced the game, I guess, but they did talk about the game in the actual documentary. I guess we'll have to see. I don't know. That one seems a little bit skeptical to me, but every other launch game definitely does make sense to me. Now let's go on to the teased games that they talked about here as well. So first up here, Horizon Zero Dawn 2. That one's a given. Spider-Man 2, I feel like also is definitely a given. I feel like those are definitely, you know, going to have sequels with them. And I feel like they could easily be teased in this, you know, February event if it actually goes down. Like I feel like those two games make sense to have like a little teaser with it. Definitely does make sense to me overall. But the next one here and the next few are definitely a little bit you know, in the curveball and definitely seem definitely interesting, you know. And so next up here, you know, beyond the realm of the pretty obvious ones like Horizon Zero Dawn sequel and Spider-Man the, you know, sequel, whatever those are called, those are pretty much set in stone. I could definitely see them being teased here at this event. But they bring up that another game that is allegedly going to be teased at this event is a new IP from Naughty Dog that is a sci-fi related genre of game. And so I feel like this one is definitely not happening, right? For a few reasons. One, because I feel like they wouldn't want to stifle the marketing and the overall kind of hype for Last of Us 2, even though I feel like nothing could possibly ever lower down the hype of Last of Us Part 2, you know what I'm saying? Like, that game is just massive, and it's going to be a huge thing for the community and a huge thing for PlayStation itself. So I feel like, you know, maybe they could possibly get away with it, but I feel like they still wouldn't want to bring up Naughty Dog and their relation to like anything new of a new IP until after Last of Us Part 2 comes out, like until we have, you know, in those post months of The Last of Us Part 2 and stuff like that. What I could be, you know, what I could see possibly being teased is one of two things. One, that you know, supposed standalone factions mode that they are developing, I could see that being teased and being announced at this event or maybe later on, or at the very minimum I could see them, you know, going on stage but yeah, along with the PS5 developers, we do also have Naughty Dog in pre-production on a new IP for the PlayStation 5, right? So if they frame it like that and don't name the actual game or just say that, hey, Naughty Dog is working on PS5, I feel like that could easily also be on the event. But I don't think they would name drop or say any details beyond the realm of it's a new IP from Naughty Dog. I think that's all they would say. I don't think they would ever bring up that it's sci-fi or anything like that. And, you know, to bring up, you know, what I possibly think that this sci-fi Naughty Dog game could be, I think it's going to be Savage Starlight, the comics that are in The Last of Us, the original Last of Us, that you know, was detailed, and it's a sci-fi really cool type of idea and concept, but that's for a whole nother video. I've been wanting to make that for a few months now. I actually have it all scripted out and, you know, kind of planned out. I'll actually probably make that video now that we have this little leak, because maybe there's some truth to this. I don't know. We will have to see. But moving on from that, they also bring up that Sony Interactive Japan is also next up the games that will possibly be teased, and this studio will possibly be bringing a tease of a game to this event. Sony Interactive Entertainment Japan has put out a ton of good games. You know what I'm saying? They helped with Bluepoint on the Shadow of the Colossus remake, as well as they developed Freedom Wars and Knack as well, of course. And bringing up Knack, I feel like they could likely bring Knack 3 to PS5, man. I think it could even be a launch style, same as Knack was for PS4, you know what I'm saying? And not only because maybe, you know, SIE Japan really loves Knack, right? And, you know, perhaps a lot of people love Knack as well because somehow miraculously it got a sequel, which, you know, I shouldn't be too hard on the game. I've never played it, but I feel like, you know, Knack was definitely just a little bit of a tech demo-ish type of game to show off the power of the PS4 in terms of how many, you know, polygonal type of processes that the PS4 can do. When you look at Knack, he's a pretty complex character, I feel like, to render. But, you know, most importantly here, I feel like this will be Knack 3 from SIE Japan solely because Mark Cerny, I feel like he loves Knack. I feel like Mark Cerny has some sort of really deep connection with Knack, and I feel like that's the main reason why we might see a Knack 3 for PS5. But I don't know. I feel like my bet is definitely on Knack 3. Don't know, could possibly be wrong, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below about SIE Japan, and then possibly bringing a game to this reveal event. But moving on from that, it seems about time as well for Final Fantasy 16, so that one kind of makes sense to me that they would show some sort of Final Fantasy 16, maybe to, you know, blend into the hype of Final Fantasy 7. But maybe we could also have a dilemma where you know, they don't want to stifle the overall marketing hype for Final Fantasy 7 coming out in April now. So maybe they might hold off on that until the same event that we get, you know, Last of Us, I mean, not Last of Us, the Naughty Dog new IP. but I could probably see Final Fantasy 16 being announced as well at this, different event. But another one that I could probably loop into the same category as Final Fantasy 16 in terms of where it will be unveiled is going to be the new Resident Evil, right? So that is also being noted as one of the games that is also being what's the word I'm looking for? Wow, I'm losing train of thought. The one of the games that's also looked to be teased at this PS5 event is Resident Evil. The next Resident Evil, I want to say it's Resident Evil. It's not 9, is it? Resident Evil 8. Resident Evil 8, I think, because Resident Evil 7 was the latest one, right? Yeah. I think that sounds right. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. But I feel like, it's definitely about time for that. But I'm not sure if it'd be at this event or the, fake I'm making up in my head Naughty Dog Sci-Fi IP and Final Fantasy 16 reveal event for PS5. So maybe Resident Evil gets lumped into that, but I can see either way. Now, one of them that I feel like is probably a little bit more could be in February is their London Studio tease. And so apparently there will also be London Studio in this, barrage of tease games. And I feel like they would do something for PSVR 2, right? Because they just had Blood and Truth came out last year. A lot of people loved it in the PSVR community. Definitely regarded as one of the top games on PSVR that you can get and experience in terms of like an overall experience. So I feel like overall they would definitely double down and like do something really big for PSVR 2 with Blood and Truth, maybe like a Blood and Truth sequel, or maybe connected in that universe to some degree, or maybe they make a traditional what the VR community calls a flat game, a traditional game for the PS5. So maybe they might do that, but I feel like it might be safe for Sony to kind of save them, have them do something really cool with PSVR 2, use and bolster the new features on that new headset that is supposed to come out, and have them come out swinging with new IP with a PSVR 2. I feel like that one makes sense as well. But maybe they make a regular game and we'll see it at this event, or maybe at the other fake event that I keep making up in my head. And so the last thing I want to bring up here, because we already talked about the slogan, is that the specs as well on PS5. So they use a term almost on par with the Xbox Series X, which leads me to believe that maybe the PS5 will be slightly underpowered in comparison to the Series X, in a similar vein that PS4 was slightly underpowered to the Xbox One X. And so I feel like we might have a similar, very, very periodic, is that a word? Periodic? A similar type of vibe going on with the power comparisons with both consoles. But in actuality, specs on paper can say very little in terms of the overall success of the console that it's talking about, because obviously here PS4 was the weaker console, but obviously it won this generation. So what really matters here is the games, obviously, and the specs can tell a few things about the console, right, and the overall capabilities of the console. But I feel like overall what's gonna really boil it down to the winner is, of course, the games. But pretty long video, but that was my whole breakdown of my thoughts on this leak. I do have a whole separate part 2 of this that I will probably put up maybe this week or next week, involving some other things that also got leaked later on. That was a little bit later than the initial stuff that we got here. So that video is coming up. Stay tuned for that. We're talking about UI in that video, as well as expanded remote play capabilities as well. But amongst all that, leave me your thoughts in the comments below about anything we talked about here. What are your thoughts on the games? What are your thoughts on the price point, the overall slogan, anything that we discuss here on this video? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And make sure also, while you are down there, you can check out our description where you can find our Twitter, our Discord, as well as, of course, our Anchor link if you want to listen to any of our long form content in podcast format. That being, of course, any of our Road 2 series, as well as Save Slot Podcast. Links down below in the description. Like the video if you enjoyed it, as well as stay subscribed to your PlayStation source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.